Welcome back to geometry class. This time we'll talk about classification of triangles. We have a few objectives in this lesson. First, we'll define a triangle. We learn how we name and denote a triangle. Then we classify triangles by their angle measures and side length, and use triangle classification to find angle measures and side lengths. Good. Definition of a triangle. Yeah. A triangle is a three-sided figure. Yeah. Formed by joining three line segments at their endpoints. Yeah. A triangle, as the name suggests, has three vertices and three sides. Yeah? We usually denote a triangle using this symbol, right? I'll make it for you larger. Yeah? So we say triangle. Yeah? And we come up with three capital letters. For example, A, B, C, right? Or triangle D, E, F. Yeah? Each letter in the name represents a vertex. Yeah? The vertex, one of the vertex of the triangle. Good. Next. Classification of triangles. We have two criteria. One is by angles. So we classify triangles by their angles and by their sides. Yeah? Let's start with classification of triangles by angles. Yeah? So we have a few types of triangles. I'm sure you are already familiar with these types of triangles. Just a little reminder. Yeah? First, acute triangle. Acute triangle, yeah, is a triangle whose all angles are acute. That's why we call it acute. Yeah? Example is displayed in this picture. Yeah? Another type of triangles is equiangular triangle. Yeah? Equi comes from equal, the same. Yeah? Is a triangle whose all three angles are equal. Yeah? Or a triangle that has all three angles congruent. Another type of triangle is a right triangle. Why we call it right? Because one of its angles is a right one. Yeah? And the last type of triangle by angles is called obtuse triangle. Why? Because one of its angles is obtuse. Yeah? Obtuse angle, remember, is an angle that is larger than 180 but less, larger than 90 but less than 180. Good. This is so-called classification by angles. Yeah? So, let's have a few problems with classification by angles. For example, let's make it larger. Look, using the diagram, classify each triangle by its angles. Remember how we denote a triangle using this symbol followed by 3 letters, each letter representing its vertices. Good. So let's look at triangle CDE. Triangle CDE, yeah, is this triangle. Yeah? Now, as we can see, one of its angles, yeah, it's a right one, namely angle E. Because one of its angles is a right one, this triangle is called right triangle. So we write here right triangle. Good. Next, triangle BCE. This time we mark triangle BCE. So BCE. As we can see, these two angles are acute, but C, yeah, is an obtuse angle, right? Is larger than 90, yeah, but is less than 180, of course. So, because this angle is obtuse, the name of the triangle would be obtuse triangle. Good. Next, triangle ABE. So we mark triangle ABE. Hold on. ABE. Yeah? So, as we can see, all of its angles, yeah, are acute and they are congruent. Remember, we had it before, it's called equiangular. Equiangular means all angles are congruent. So we call this triangle, let's say, equiangular. Triangle. Yeah, probably you'll not see the color, but yeah. Triangle BDE. Again, we mark triangle BDE. Yeah, BDE. So, as we can see, angle E, this angle, right? This is the angle BED, is obtuse. Yeah. So, the name of the triangle is obtuse. Yeah? Triangle. Now, triangle CFE. 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 Now, all of its angles are acute. Yeah, so because of that, the name of this triangle is acute triangle. Yeah? Good. Let's move on to the second criteria. Yeah? We'll talk about classification of triangles according to the sides or by sides. Yeah? Now, we have here three main types of triangles classified by sides. Yeah? First, equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle is a triangle with all sides congruent, yeah, or equal, yeah. So, but in the same time, an equilateral triangle is an equiangular triangle, yeah. Depending on the criteria, we classify an angle, yeah. Second type of triangle classified by size is isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle is a triangle with two sides congruent. Yeah? We'll see later an isosceles triangle has one more particular property. But for now, it's enough to know isosceles triangle is a triangle with only two sides congruent. And the last type of triangle, classified by sides, is scalene triangle. A scalene triangle is a triangle with all sides different, yeah? Like this one. Good. This being said, let's show you pictures of each of these triangles, yeah? For example, image of an equilateral triangle, yeah? So, all sides are congruent. These markings indicate all sides are congruent, yeah? And in the same time, all angles are congruent and equal to 60 degrees, yeah? Next. This is an image of isosceles triangle, yeah? Is a triangle with two sides congruent. But in the same time, it has two congruent angles. But we'll talk later about this type of triangles, yeah? Good. Now, let's have a few applications of classification of triangles by their sides. Yeah? Look, using the diagram, classify each triangle by its sides. Remember, we denote a triangle using this symbol and followed by three letters. Yeah? So, triangle JKM. JKM. As we can see, all sides, its sides are different. None of these sides are congruent, yeah? So, because all sides are different, the name of this triangle would be scalene. Yeah? Triangle. Then, triangle KLN. Triangle KLN. As we can see, these two sides have the same number of markings, which means they are congruent. Remember, the name of such a triangle is an isosceles one because it has two congruent sides. So, triangle KLN would be isosceles triangle. Good. What about triangle JKN? JKN. As we can see, each of its sides has one marking, indicating all of these three sides are congruent. Yeah? So, remember the name of a triangle whose all sides are congruent is called equilateral. We say equilateral triangle. Good. Then, for 9 through 14, classify each triangle by its angles and sides. In other words, we have to come up with how many names? 2 names, one for angles and one for sides. For example, number 9. We see one of its angles is a right one. So the name is right if we classify by its angles, and let's find the name if we classify by its sides. As we can see, these 2 sides have the same number of markings, which means they are congruent. So a triangle whose 2 sides are congruent is called isosceles. So is isosceles. Good. Number 10. As we can see, this angle, right, is 114, which means this angle is obtuse one. Why? Because its measure is larger than 90, but is less than 180. So one of his name by angles, yeah, would be obtuse. Now let's find the name by sides. All of its sides are different, yeah, because all sides are different. The name is scalene. Scalene. 11. Now, here we have, as we can see, all of its angles congruent, yeah, and equals 60. So, because all angles are congruent, this triangle is equiangular, yeah. Equiangular means all angles are equal or congruent, yeah. And we have to come up with a name by its sides, yeah. All of its sides have the same length, so is equilateral. As a rule of thumb, yeah, if a triangle is equiangular, automatically is equilateral. If it's equilateral, automatically is equiangular. Good. Number 12. So, as we can see, all of its angles are acute. So, the triangle would be acute. Yeah? And by sides, all of its sides are different. So, is a scalene one. 13. Because one of its angles is 90, the triangle would be a right one, a right triangle. In the same time, all of its sides are different. So, the name is scalene. Good. And the last one. If we look at this angle, equals 97. So, it's larger than 90, but is less than 180. So, is an obtuse one. So, the name of the triangle would be given by the name of the angle. So, is obtuse. Now, let's find the name by its sides. As we can see, these 2 sides are congruent, have the same length. So, the name of a triangle whose 2 sides are congruent is called isosceles. Yeah? Good. Thank you for watching my video. That for today is all we have. We'll see next time with more details. Thank you.